morning. Welcome to Brian Fagan's Ask Attorney Q&A. Today we are going over SAPCRs. My name is Summer Doyle-Brashears. I am an attorney here at the law office of Brian Fagan. Today we are discussing SAPCRs. So what a SAPCR is, it is an acronym and it is short for a suit affecting the parent-child relationship. And this is a case where a judge can make custody, visitation, child support, medical support, and dental support orders that are in the child or children's best interest. In Texas, a person can file a SAPCR, a suit affecting the parent-child relationship, if the child has lived in Texas for at least 6 months or since birth. A SAPCR can also be filed if it's the child's home state was Texas and they have been gone for less than 6 months out of the state, so we maintain jurisdiction over them. The case must be filed in the county where the child resides or lives. So you're probably wondering, when is a SAPCR appropriate? So this is primarily for parents who are not married or don't want to get a divorce and just want to put into place the custody arrangements. You and the other parent have signed an acknowledgement of paternity, so we know who the father is and they are claiming the child, and there are no existing court orders about your child. If there is already a court order established, then there's other cases that you would need to file, primarily a modification, and that will be a topic for a different day. A big question that comes up with SAPCRs is who other than the biological parents can file a SAPCR. First, we'll just kind of describe what a non-parent is. So a non-parent is anyone other than the child's biological or adoptive parents. Examples would include grandparents, aunts and uncles, step-parents, or other people who are related by blood, but not by marriage. Also, a non-parent can be anyone else who has standing to participate in a custody case. So in order to file a case, you have to have standing to file that case. Standing means that they have a relationship to or a connection with the child that gives them the legal authority or right to file a case. So some examples of non-parents with standing could include someone who is not a foster parent, but has been in actual care, control, or possession of the child for the preceding 6 months. Another example would be someone who has lived with the child and the child's parents or guardian for at least 6 months, and the parent or guardian has died. Another one would be a foster parent who's cared for the child for at least a year. The child's grandparent, great-grandparents, siblings, aunt, uncle, niece, or nephew, if one of the following is true. Both of the children's parents are deceased. Both parents are the surviving parent agreed that the non-parent has standing, or the child's current circumstances present a serious risk to their physical health or emotional development. So if you have any questions regarding whether you specifically have standing to file a SAPCR, you definitely need to consult with an attorney and give them your case-specific fact. That way they can let you know if you have standing to file this case and under what grounds under the Texas Family Code. So after standing, we are filing that SAPCR, we are filing the petition with the Family Law Court, and we need to touch base on what the case actually covers. So earlier we touched on how in a SAPCR, the judge can make custody, visitation, child support, and medical support, and dental support orders that are in the child's or children's best interest. So let's kind of just define those terms. So what is custody? Well, in Texas, the legal word for custody is conservatorship. So custody or conservatorship describes your relationship with your child when there is a court order. So who's making what decisions regarding the child? What is a visitation order? A visitation or possession order says when each parent, or sometimes non-parents, has the right to time with the child. So in these orders, we're outlining periods of possession and access to that child. And so there's very specific dates on who has the child and what times and places that there's drop-offs and pickups. It keeps it very clear so that everyone understands when they are entitled to time with their child or the child if it's not your biological. What is child support? So child support is the money that a parent pays to help with the cost of raising a child, such as the cost of food, housing, clothing, school supplies, daycare, activities, basically the child's life. So a parent can be ordered to pay child support by a judge. Even if there's no court order, both parents are expected to financially support their child. So a parent who does not live with a child and does not support the child financially may be ordered to pay back or retroactive child support to the person who cared for the child. So if you're in a situation where you've been caring for your child and the other parent has not been providing financially and haven't been living with you, then you could be entitled to back pay or retroactive pay. Again, always consult with an attorney so that they can review your case-specific facts and they can give you a better idea of your case and your claim for child support. All right, so next is medical support. So medical support is additional child support a parent is ordered to pay to cover the cost of health insurance and uninsured medical expenses for a child. Dental support is similar. It's additional to child support that a parent could be ordered to pay to cover reasonable cost of dental insurance and uninsured dental expenses for a child. So in a SAPCR, we're covering all of this. We're covering custody, visitation, medical support, dental support, and it outlines a very clear and detailed court order of what we are following, who is making what decisions, who is having the children when, who is paying in what amount for child support, medical, and dental. Alrighty, so some of the next thing we're going to discuss is the rights and duties of parents. So under Texas law, parents have certain rights and duties to their children unless those rights and duties are changed by a court order. So this includes to have physical possession of the child, to choose a residence of the child. And I don't know if I touched on this earlier, but when we decide the residence of a child in a SAPCR, there can be a geographical restriction put into place. So something like common language to see in a SAPCR is the county and contiguous counties. So if you live like in Harris County, it could say to reside in Harris County or contiguous counties, which means counties that touch Harris County. So it would keep the children in a very specified area. That way, both parents have access to the child and they don't live super far. The next would be to direct the moral or religious training of the child, to have control of the child. In other words, to make sure that they go to school, do not break the law, etc. There's a duty to protect the child from abuse, neglect, and other types of harm. The right to reasonably discipline the child. The right to support the child, providing them with food, clothing, shelter, and education. So for a complete list of the rights and duties of parents, or to better understand your rights and duties outlined in your court order, consult with an attorney. But these are all things that can also be touched in a SAPCR. Now, we've mentioned multiple times this Texas Family Code, and so that is very standard and something that we can fall back to. But if you and your co-parent are getting along and have a good relationship and are able to come up with a custom agreement that's in the best interest of your child, like commonly people want to do a 50-50 split, the judge is going to want to see that it's in the best interest of the child, whatever agreement that you have come up with the co-parent. And as long as it's in the best interest of the child, we can come up with very, very custom custody arrangements and SAPCR court orders that outline those very custom plans that you and your co-parent come up with. And a lot of times those can be very beneficial because it's the two of you working together and we're able to compensate for special schedules. A lot of kids have very rigorous extracurricular activities, so it can compensate for the unique needs of your family. And so that's always an option. However, sometimes, we can't come to those agreements. And so these Texas Family Code outlines are what we fall back to when we can't agree. And then lastly, do you need an attorney to file a custody case? And the answer is no. You do not have to have a lawyer to file or respond to a SAPCR case. However, like you've just seen, what we've just covered, a SAPCR case can be super complicated and your rights as a parent may be at risk. So being with a family law attorney that's experienced with SAPCRs is always going to help you be more prepared. So it's a good idea to talk with a family law lawyer about your situation, and they can explain your rights and options. And while retaining an attorney is always recommended, there are options for representation. So it doesn't have to be a full retainer if that's not something that you're able to do. You can also hire a family lawyer under limited scope representation just to give you advice, review your forms, draft a document, or help you prepare for a hearing. And even with that limited scope representation, you are getting more prepared for these hearings and you know more what to expect. So you can walk into any hearing or mediation or negotiation with confidence that you are, more educated about what a SAPCR is and your rights as a parent. And then under this option, you could handle other parts of the case yourself. However, it is always recommended to consult with an attorney and to retain an attorney to handle it for you, because this is your family, this is your kids. And so you want to make sure that you know your rights and that your rights are represented for you and that you get the best outcome from the case possible. And you have the best chance of that with an attorney who's experienced in this area of law. So that pretty much sums up what a SAPCR is. I just want to say thank you all so much for tuning in on our live event. These are so much fun. And if you have any other questions, you can always give us a call at 281-810-9760. And you can schedule a free 30-minute consultation. We would love to help you. We would love to answer your questions. Every case, every family is unique. So it's very important that you consult with an attorney if you're going through a SAPCR. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.